Billionaire discovered two girls humiliated and revealed an amazing life-changing moment. In the heart of a sunlit park, two spirited teenage girls danced with passion, their worn-out shoes tapping against the cracked pavement, echoing sweet notes of resilience. Mia spun gracefully, her dark curls flowing like a river of dreams, while Emma mirrored her every move, determination etched on her face. They were the dreamers, the hopefuls, chasing a future painted in vibrant colors against the mundane backdrop of suburban life. But that blissful afternoon shattered when a group of well-off teens strutted into the park like royalty, clad in designer clothes and flawless makeup. Laughter rang hollow as they spotted Mia and Emma. "Look at those shoes!" one girl cackled, her perfectly manicured hand pointing. Mia felt a knot twist in her stomach, while Emma's smile faltered. The taunts stung, awakening insecurities masked by their hopeful spirits. But they exchanged glances, a silent vow to rise above the cruel words that hung heavy in the air. Just then, a man sat nearby, his sharp blue eyes keenly observing. Alex, a billionaire entrepreneur, who at that moment was engrossed in a meeting for his latest venture, shifted his focus, sensing something extraordinary about the girls' resilience. He admired their grace, their life pouring out through every expressive movement, and he was captivated. Later, after the mocking girls had left, Alex approached them. "Hey, I saw what happened. Don't let them get to you. I see fire in your eyes." His voice was calm, genuine, like fresh air after a storm. The girls, bewildered but intrigued, shared their dreams of making it big as professional dancers. "I want to dance on Broadway," Mia confessed, and Emma echoed her hopes of winning competitions and making her family proud. Alex, his heart stirred by their passion, made them an astonishing offer. He wanted to sponsor their journey to stardom. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. As their social standings began to shift, Mia and Emma found themselves flung into a world of luxury. They were attending exclusive dance classes and struggling to adapt to their new lives. The glitzy spotlight cast long shadows of doubt on their hearts. They both questioned if they could stay true to themselves while climbing to new heights. With a prestigious competition approaching, the pressure mounted. Everything hinged on their upcoming performance. The choice loomed like a giant specter: conform to the polished choreography that defined their new professional image, or dare to dance with the raw unevenness that spoke of their lives. Moments before they stepped on stage under the blinding lights, Emma leaned close and whispered, "No matter what happens, we dance for us." Mia's heart raced, doubt creeping in, but it shifted into a fierce resolve. As the curtain rose and the audience leaned in, anticipation crackled in the air. Would they risk it all and bare their souls through dance, or play it safe? The stage was set, the world waiting. As the lights blazed down on them, Mia and Emma locked eyes, sharing an unspoken pact. This was their moment, their chance to shine, but it felt weighty, like balancing on a tightrope. The audience held their breaths, and the world stood still for just a heartbeat. Mia took a deep breath, summoning every flicker of courage within her. They weren't just going to dance. They were going to tell a story that was raw and real. With a wave of her hand, she signaled to Emma, who nodded back with fierce determination. The music began, a haunting melody that echoed through the massive space while tugging at their deepest emotions. As they moved, Mia felt the floor beneath her feet pulse like a heartbeat, syncing with her own. She closed her eyes for a moment, losing herself in the rhythm. Each step unleashed a wave of joy mixed with vulnerability. They let the choreography flow into something more spontaneous, a reflection of who they were beyond the polish and gleam they were now surrounded by. The whispers of doubt that had wrapped around Mia were replaced with clarity. She remembered the laughter of the mean girls, the mockery, but most importantly, she remembered their dreams, the fire behind their eyes. This performance was for every girl who had ever felt inadequate. With each twirl and leap, the girls poured their hearts into the performance, allowing the audience to witness not just their talent, but their resilience. The cheers began to ripple through the crowd, a tide of support washing over them. But the closer they got to the finale, the stronger the urge to revert to the safe, polished choreography formed in their heads clawed at Mia's spirit. What if they made a mistake? What if they embarrassed themselves? Just then, Emma gave her a fierce grin, reminding Mia of their unshakable bond. Returning to the moment, Mia's resolve deepened. They would dance without holding back. Just as the crescendo hit, Mia broke free from the choreography, launching into an improvised spin, her hair trailing like a comet's tail. Emma followed suit, her movements becoming an expression of joy and defiance. The applause erupted, louder and more fervent, as the audience sensed the authenticity radiating from the duo. Finally, as the last notes rang out and they held their final pose, Mia's heart raced in her chest. She opened her eyes, scanning the sea of faces, catching glimpses of astonished expressions. This wasn't just a performance. It was a declaration that they would own who they were, imperfections and all. But then Mia noticed something odd in the crowd. Alex stood there, eyes wide, his usual confident demeanor replaced with a look of confusion. A sinking feeling took hold. Hadn't he wanted them to shine for who they were? Did he expect something else? As the applause faded, the reality of their choice settled in. They risked everything by dancing for themselves. But what would Alex think? Would he still stand by them, or had they let him down? The questions swirled around Mia's mind, mingling with the exhilaration of the performance. What if we messed it all up? Mia whispered to Emma, worry creeping back. Emma shrugged but smiled. At least we danced together. Little did they know, the aftershocks of their performance would send ripples through their lives, drawing them further into the complexities of ambition and friendship. Just as they stepped off the stage, the looming question hung in the air. Was this truly just the beginning of their journey, or the start of unraveling everything they had hoped for? And what lay ahead would challenge everything they believed about their dreams. As they stepped off the stage, the adrenaline still buzzed through Mia like electricity. The echoes of applause faded into a distant hum, but her heart was still racing, caught between elation and anxiety. She scanned the crowd for Alex again, hoping to read something in his expression that might reassure her. But as she approached him, his brows knitted together and his lips pressed into a thin line. The smiles, cheers, and support from strangers felt like a fever dream, fading as she caught sight of his uncertainty. "Hey," she ventured, her voice barely above a whisper. "Mia, that was different," he replied slowly. I thought you'd stick to the routine." His tone was questioning, a hint of disappointment bubbling beneath the surface. Mia felt her heart plummet. She was taken aback, suddenly doubting everything the heartfelt dance, the meaning behind it, their connection. "We wanted to be real, to show who we truly are." The words tumbled out in a rush, tinged with disbelief. Emma joined her side, fierce and unyielding. "We weren't going to hide behind someone else's expectations. It was our moment." Alex ran a hand through his hair, frustration flickering in his eyes. "But what about the competition? You have to impress the judges." His gaze darted between Mia and Emma, trying to gauge their reaction. "This isn't just about you two anymore." Mia and Emma exchanged glances. This wasn't just another performance. They had poured their souls into this. But had they missed the point of it all? Just as Mia began to ponder her choices, the announcer's voice crackled through the speakers, calling them back to the stage. The finalists were about to be announced. "Let us just see how it goes," Emma said, her determination unwavering. It was clear she wouldn't let the fear of judgment dim the fire they ignited. With heavy hearts, they stepped back in front of the audience, the initial thrill fading into a knot of nerves. As their names weren't called among the finalists, a mix of relief and disappointment washed over Mia, drawing her attention back to Alex. "You're right to be ambitious," she said, her voice low. "But," she added, her steel glare unwavering, "we have to stay true to ourselves." The crowd erupted with applause again, But this time it felt different. Mia looked around. Some were still cheering, but others wore expressions of confusion, like Alex's. Here she was, standing on the very stage where she thought they would find validation. Yet her heart felt heavier than ever. "Do you think we'll ever rise above this?" she asked Emma softly, her spirit wavering. Emma shrugged, eyes sparkling with unshed tears. "We've only just begun. Our path might not be the one we imagined, but it's still ours." Mia nodded, taking in Emma's strength, drawing resolve from their unbreakable bond. They may have missed the titles, but they had carved out something far more valuable: authenticity and friendship. As they walked off stage one last time, Mia caught sight of Alex. This time he seemed different, more contemplative than disappointed. She could only hope that he would come to understand the choices they had made. Before she could wonder what conversations would follow, a voice cut through her thoughts. It was the head judge, a former star dancer turned mentor. "Mia, Emma, can you stay a moment?" Mia's stomach dropped. Had they made the worst decision of all? Or had they sparked interest in unexpected ways? The uncertainty loomed as the lights dimmed once again, leaving them in shadows with the weight of what could come next. "Are you ready to discover what lies ahead?" Emma whispered, both anxious and electrified. "What if it changes everything?" Mia thought, gazing back at the stage as a new chapter unfolded before them. Mia and Emma stood frozen, the noise of the venue fading into a whisper around them. The head judge beckoned them closer, his eyes gleaming with a mixture of curiosity and authority. They exchanged uncertain glances, each one searching for the reassurance the other couldn't provide. "Mia, Emma, that was an unusual choice for a performance," he began, his voice steady yet compelling. "Many would say it was a gamble, but I see potential in you both. Authenticity like what you displayed is rare." Mia felt her pulse quicken. Was he actually complimenting them? "Thank you," she managed to say, trying to steady the quiver in her voice. However, the judge continued, "You have to understand that, in this industry, vulnerability is a double-edged sword. Can either elevate you or tear you down. Are you prepared for that?" Before they could respond, Alex stepped forward, his expression shifting from uncertainty to fervor. "I don't think you understand their choice at all. They embraced who they are. Isn't that what we should celebrate?" His voice was filled with a fierce passion Mia hadn't heard before, and it pushed her heart to flutter. The judge raised an eyebrow, clearly taken aback. "You've made your point, Alex, but conviction alone won't win this competition." "Maybe not the competition," Mia interjected, finding her voice. "But it's our story. If we lose, at least we can leave knowing we danced as ourselves." The judge stared at her, weighing her words. She could feel her heart thundering, not from the fear of failure, but from the hope that maybe, just maybe, they had struck a chord. After a tense silence, he nodded. "If that's how you feel, then perhaps we can find a place for that narrative in our shows. I want you both to join me for a meeting next week. We can explore how to refine your vision." Mia blinked, her mind racing. A meeting? Was this a twist of fate? Emma's face lit up with disbelief as she squeezed Mia's hand tightly. "Really? You mean it?" "Yes. But I want to be clear, it won't be easy. You'll have to fight for your passion, especially in a world that often demands conformity," he warned, his tone firm. "Then we'll fight," Emma declared, her spirit unyielding. "We will not let anyone tell us who we can be." Mia felt a surge of hope as they exchanged a proud smile. This was their moment, a crack in the door of possibility that had seemed shut just moments ago. As they stepped away from the stage, the energies of the crowd wrapped around them like a warm embrace. Mia glanced back at Alex, who stood watching, wrestling with his thoughts. "Thanks for standing up for us," Mia called out, her voice carrying the gratitude she felt. "It means a lot." He offered a small smile, a hint of understanding sparking in his eyes. "Just don't think you can ignore the rules completely." Emma winked at Mia, her eyes twinkling. "We won't. We'll just write our own." With renewed spirits, they made their way towards the exit. With every step, Mia felt lighter, alive with dreams that stretched far beyond the competition. But just as they reached the doors, the atmosphere shifted. A familiar face emerged from the shadows, an unexpected visitor who would turn their world upside down once more. Did you really think you could escape that easily? The figure smirked, and Mia's heart sank. What now? Mia froze, the weight of dread settling in her stomach. The figure stepping into the light wasn't just anyone. It was Greg, her ex-boyfriend, with his familiar cocky smirk plastered across his face. Memories flooded back, moments of laughter twisted with the painful remnants of their breakup. She had thought she left that part of her life behind. What are you doing here? Mia demanded, a mix of anger and shock rushing through her. Oh, just enjoying the show, Greg replied, his voice dripping with condescension. But it seems the real entertainment was offstage. You two really went all out. Emma straightened, her confidence suddenly wavering. This isn't your business, Greg. You should leave. Business? Oh, I think it is, he replied, stepping closer, his eyes scanning them both, then settling on Mia. After all, everyone loves a comeback story. Especially when it includes a couple of nobodies trying to make it big. But don't get too ahead of yourselves. You know the industry is brutal. Mia felt a surge of anger course through her veins. You think just because you're in the spotlight you can belittle what we did? We put our hearts into that performance. Greg chuckled, shaking his head dismissively. It's adorable that you think you can just dance your way to success. Life isn't that easy, Mia. Not for people like you. People like me? Mia felt her breath quicken. What does that even mean? You think you're better than us because you have money? Greg leaned in, lowering his voice to a taunting whisper. No, it's because I know what it takes to succeed in this world. And you girls? You'll just end up like all the others, lost in the shuffle. Emma stepped forward, her fists clenched at her sides. We aren't scared of you or your empty words. We're not giving up on ourselves. Mia turned to Emma, seeking the reminder of their shared resolve, and she felt a spark reignite within her. They were on the brink of something huge. Greg rolled his eyes, unimpressed. Fine. Fail. But if you make a fool out of yourselves on this stage, don't say I didn't warn you. You know the judges won't hold back. With that, he turned, striding away with the air of someone who believed he held all the cards. Anxiety swirled in Mia's chest, but as she glanced at Emma, she saw determination etched across her friend's face. This was a test, a brutal reminder of their struggle, but it wouldn't define them. Mia took a deep breath, feeling the warmth of possibility creeping back in. We can't let him get to us. We have to focus on that meeting next week. It's our chance. Emma nodded, her resolve strengthening. You're right. Let us prove him wrong. We're not backing down. They exited the venue, the sunlight hitting their faces like a burst of energy. Mia squeezed Emma's hand, reminding herself that she was in this together. But even as they walked into the light, doubt lingered at the edge of her mind. What if Greg was right? What if they failed? Mia shook her head, pushing the thoughts aside as they made their way down the bustling street. Just then, her phone buzzed in her pocket. She pulled it out, and her heart raced at the name displayed on the screen. Alex. Hello? She answered, her voice brightening instantly. I've been thinking about your performance, he said. And for a moment, she forgot about everything else. But then he continued, I have a proposal, something I think you and Emma might want to hear. Can you meet me? What is it? Let us just say it could change everything for you too. Mia exchanged a hopeful glance with Emma. Their road was getting more complicated. Yet the possibilities were endless. All right, where and when? As Mia hung up, she felt a fresh adrenaline rush surge through her. The confrontation with Greg was a reminder of their uphill battle. But now a new opportunity sparked. All they had to do was believe in it. They stepped off the curb, letting the world around them blend into a blur of ambition and fear. As they looked toward the future, there was an unspoken question lingering. Would this meeting with Alex lead them to the breakthrough they needed, or into another trap? The coffee shop was buzzing with activity when Mia and Emma arrived, the smell of freshly brewed coffee mingling with the chatter of aspiring artists and businesspeople. It felt like the perfect place to dream big or to get crushed. As they stepped in, Mia's confidence began to falter again, the weight of the world pressing on her shoulders. Do you think Alex can really help us? Mia asked, glancing around, trying to focus on anything but her unease. Emma gave a reassuring smile. If he has a proposal, it has to mean something, right? We just need to be ready for anything. Mia nodded, taking a deep breath. The sound of the barista calling orders, the clatter of cups, all fused into a rhythm that reminded her they were moving forward, one way or another. Just then, she spotted Alex sitting at a small table in the corner. He looked deep in thought, his fingers tapping nervously against his coffee cup as they approached. He looked up, his face transforming from concentrated to delighted. "You made it." His smile glimmered against the backdrop of the lively cafe, and Mia felt a spark of optimism return. "Of course," Emma said, sitting down. "We want to hear what you have to say." Alex gestured for them to sit, his demeanor shifting to serious. "I've been following your journey closely, and I really believe in what you two can achieve," he began, his tone earnest. "But I think you might need a different strategy to get the attention you deserve." Mia leaned in, curiosity piqued. "What do you have in mind?" He took a sip of his coffee, weighing his words. "I want to connect you with a few influential people. I know some agents and producers who are always on the hunt for fresh talent. If you play your cards right, you could get your foot in the door of some major productions." Emma's eyes widened. "Are you serious? This could really change everything for us." Alex nodded, his expression hopeful. But he paused, studying their reactions. "It will require a lot of hard work, and you need to be ready for the pressure. It's not just a matter of talent. It's tough out there." Mia dared to imagine their future, but lurking doubts still clutched her heart. What if we fail? What if we're not good enough? Alex's gaze softened, and he leaned closer. "Everyone faces fear and doubt. It's about how you respond to it. You have to be willing to stand up and fight for what you love, even when it gets hard. That's where true success lies." For a moment, those words washed over Mia, filling her with warmth. Could they really be ready to fight? "Okay." Emma broke the silence, her voice steady. "What's the first step?" Alex pulled out a small notepad and wrote down a name and a number. "Reach out to this agent. Tell them I sent you, and be prepared to perform. They focus on raw talent, so you'll want to bring your A game. Trust me, this is your shot." As Alex pushed the note across the table, Mia felt the world shift beneath her. This was it. They had a chance, but it felt daunting. What if they stumbled? What if Greg was right? Yet as she glanced at Emma's determined face, she felt something solid take root inside her, a fierce will to prove everyone wrong. "Thank you, Alex," Mia said, her voice starting to tremble with emotion. "We won't let you down." Standing up, she felt the rush of adrenaline. They were at the edge of something monumental, teetering between fear and hope. But as they left the cafe, the note burning in Mia's pocket, a familiar voice resonated in her mind, echoing Greg's taunts. Would they soar, or would they crash? Just then, Emma broke into her thoughts, eyes wide with excitement. "You know what? I think we can handle this. Let us show them what we're made of." Mia nodded, but doubt tickled the edges of her courage. They were about to step into a world that could make or break them. Could they truly rise to the occasion? Or were they just setting themselves up for another heartbreak? The air outside the coffee shop felt electric as Mia and Emma stepped onto the bustling street. With the note clenched tightly in Mia's fist, everything felt different. The sun was brighter, the sounds more vibrant, as if the world was cheering them on. But inside, a storm of anxiety raged. "I don't know, Em. What if we mess this up?" Mia murmured, her voice barely audible over the city noise. Emma looked at her, brows furrowed with concern. "Do you really think Alex would have given us this chance if he didn't believe in us? We have to trust ourselves." Mia forced a smile, but it felt brittle. They turned a corner, the rhythm of their footsteps syncing with her heartbeat. Each step was a reminder of the weight of expectation, and she couldn't shake Greg's voice from her mind. "You're aiming too high, Mia. You'll just end up humiliated," he would say, his smirk etched in her memory. But Emma's enthusiasm was infectious. She bounced slightly on her heels. "Let us just do this. We can make this work. This could be our moment." Mia glanced at her friend, The thrill in Emma's eyes reflected the flicker of hope inside her. They couldn't turn back now, not when they were so close. They walked towards a park, an open space that felt like a sanctuary amidst the chaos. Mia suggested they practice. It was time to tap into their preparations. Let us run through what we might do if we meet the agent. Emma nodded eagerly. Yes, we'll make a plan. We can do a mini performance right here. They found a secluded bench, the sunlight filtering down as they paced out their ideas. Emma's voice rang out, full of passion, as she shared her thoughts on a piece they had been working on. Picture this. We start soft, really draw them in. Then we build up with that amazing chorus. Mia cut in, her confidence growing. As they rehearsed, something shifted within her. The doubt began to peel away like layers of an onion, revealing a budding realization. They were strong together. Minutes turned into an hour, and their laughter filled the park. They attracted some curious onlookers, who turned heads and smiled. With each line they sang, Mia felt the corners of fear slowly retreat. See? We've got this, Emma said, breathing heavily after their third run-through, and Mia agreed, feeling the adrenaline flow through her as they sat back on the bench. High on their small triumph, Mia's phone buzzed. It was a text from Alex, asking if they had contacted the agent yet. Panic surged through Mia. Oh no, we haven't done it. What if the window closes? Emma steadied her with a hand on her shoulder. We can't overthink it. Let us just do it, right now. The urgency in Emma's voice was contagious. They both pulled out their phones, hearts racing, fingers hesitating above the screen. The stakes felt palpable, each message carrying the weight of their dreams. Mia took a deep breath and began typing, her fingers shaking but fueled by newfound determination. Okay. On 3. We hit send together, she suggested, counting down. 3, 2, 1. They pressed send at the same moment, adrenaline coursing through their veins as they exchanged wide-eyed glances. Just then, an unexpected figure brushed past them, his presence exuding an air of confidence and power. The man turned slightly, and their eyes met his expression intrigued, a glint of recognition flickering in his gaze. Mia's breath caught in her throat. Was it just her imagination, or did he know who they were? Who was that? Emma asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I have no idea, Mia replied slowly, her heart racing as she watched the stranger disappear into the crowd. But a new question echoed in her mind. Was this city full of surprises? And what lay ahead that could change everything? Mia sat frozen on the bench, her thoughts racing like a roller coaster. The man's fleeting gaze stirred something deep inside her, a mix of fear and excitement. Who was he? What did he see in them? Do you think he recognized us? Emma mused, glancing toward the spot where the stranger had stood mere seconds ago. Maybe? Or maybe he just had one of those faces that makes you feel like you've met before, Mia replied, trying to shake off the unexpected presence. Still, the feeling lingered, heavy and sweet. As they exchanged glances, their phones buzzed simultaneously, pulling them back into the moment. A notification. Mia's heart skipped a beat. It was a reply from the agent. The words spilled out with a cocktail of dread and anticipation. Let us meet tomorrow at noon, it read. Tomorrow? Emma gasped. This is it. Mia, we can do this. Mia nodded, forcing a grin to mask her growing apprehension. Yeah, we can. But deep down, the familiar voice of doubt crept back. What if they failed? What if they weren't ready? Emma seemed to sense the shadow creeping across Mia's face. Remember that feeling we had while practicing? We need to take that energy with us. Trust in our voices. Right, Mia replied, swallowing her fears. Together, with renewed determination, they headed back through the park, each step fueled by a mix of hope and trepidation. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a golden glow that made everything feel almost magical. Each passerby became a blur, their lives entwined with the music dancing in Mia and Emma's minds. As they crossed the street, Mia felt a wave of exhilaration roll through her. Perhaps this was the city's magic weaving itself into their journey. But just as they passed a crowded cafe, Emma's excited voice rang out. Look, there he is again. Mia turned her head sharply, her heart racing anew, this time at the sight of the confident man returning. He walked into the cafe with poise, as if the world bent to his will. "Should we?" Mia began, but Emma had already taken a step towards the cafe entrance, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. "Mia, I think we have to. This might be our chance. There's no way we can just approach him." Mia pulled her back, panic flaring. What if he's important? What if we embarrass ourselves? But Emma's enthusiasm was infectious. What if he's the key to everything? What if he could help us? Before Mia could respond, Emma dashed inside. Mia grabbed her arm, but she couldn't hold back a smile. Boldness radiated off her friend. "Okay, just let us be cool about this," Mia whispered, trying to catch her breath as they entered. The cafe buzzed with conversations, the rich aroma of coffee wafting through the air. Their eyes searched for him amidst the crowd, and Mia's heart raced at the thought of making a connection. When they spotted him, he was seated at a corner table, absorbed in conversation with another man, his gestures animated. Despite her nerves, Mia felt a strange pull, as if she were meant to be here. "Let us just casually walk by. Maybe he'll notice us," Emma suggested, her excitement palpable. They strolled past the table, as casually as they could muster. Just as they approached, Mia caught the man's eye. His brow furrowed slightly, as if recalling a memory just out of reach. "Wait," he called out, rising with an ease that sent chills down Mia's spine. Do I know you?" he asked, stepping closer, an unmistakable spark of recognition dancing in his expression. Mia shared a nervous glance with Emma. This was it. Destiny poised on the edge of their dreams, and the moment hung thick in the air. "Maybe," she replied, her voice shaking with fear and curiosity. "But we'd like to change that." The man smiled, and everything changed. "What do you mean?" "Tonight we're performing. You should come," Emma chimed in, her excitement surfacing again. Mia felt her pulse quicken as their words hung between them, a thread of fate spinning tighter. Would this moment lead to something bigger? Was this man a piece of the puzzle they had long sought? The questions danced around them like leaves in the wind, and the world felt poised on the brink of transformation. They stood at the precipice of an unknown future, with destiny just waiting to unveil its secrets. And in that flicker of seconds before a reply, a thought unwound in Mia's mind. What if this was the start? The man paused, his keen eyes searching Mia's, as if he could read the storm of emotions inside her. For a moment, the bustle of the cafe faded into a muted backdrop, and all that existed was the magnetic connection sparking between them. "I'm intrigued," he said slowly, leaning slightly closer, his voice low and smooth. "What's your name?" "Mia," she breathed, barely able to contain the thrill that danced through her veins. "And I'm Emma," her friend piped up, her enthusiasm bursting through the tension that enveloped them. "Mia and Emma," he repeated, a smile spreading across his face. "I'm Jonah. So what are you performing tonight?" Determination quelled Mia's anxiety, pushing her forward. "We're singing our hearts out at the Velvet Room. It's a small venue, but we've been working really hard. We just want to share our music, our stories." He nodded, his interest growing. "Music? Huh? That's brave. And I can tell you mean it. Will you come?" Emma blurted, not giving Mia the chance to reconsider. "Could change everything for us." Mia squeezed Emma's hand, anxiety creeping back in. "We don't want to pressure you." "It's fine if I'd love to," Jonah interjected, unfazed by their insecurity. "I'll be there. I think the night deserves a bit of magic, don't you?" Mia felt lightheaded from his words. What did he see in their music? Was it really that special? Really? Emma bounced on her toes, barely able to believe what she was hearing. "Absolutely. What time does the show start?" 8 o'clock, Mia replied, her voice steadying. "We'll be on right at 8. "Great. I'll make sure to be there on time," Jonah smiled, and just like that, hope bloomed in Mia's chest. "Thank you," Mia managed, her heart swelling with gratitude. He nodded again, and as the conversation continued, she found herself momentarily lost in his charisma. The way he spoke, the way he laughed, it felt like he wrapped them in a blanket of warmth, encouraging and vibrant as the cafe buzzed back to life around them. Mia shared snippets of their lives with Jonah, their dreams of making it big, the late-night practices, and the tiny hummingbird of fear fluttering in her chest. Each word felt like paint added to a canvas, crafting the vision of who they were and who they aspired to become. But underneath the excitement lay a quiet concern. What if he was disappointed? What if tonight didn't he deliver what was promised? Just as these thoughts threatened to overshadow her, Jonah leaned in again, a glimmer in his eye. You know, I have a knack for spotting potential. Trust me, you two have something special. Mia tried to take a breath, to let his encouragement sink in fully. Could they really be more than just girls with a dream? Do you want to have coffee with me before the show? I'd like to know more about your music, he offered, turning the energy once more. Emma exchanged a glance with Mia, excitement flickering in her eyes. Sure. Okay. Mia agreed, finding her spirit reignited by Jonah's enthusiasm as they settled in for coffee. Laughter bubbled between them, with Jonah sharing stories of his own failures and triumphs, his voice growing warmer under the cafe lights. He didn't just listen. He engaged, drawing them out of their shells. Mia felt as though the weight of the world was lifting. But in the back of her mind loomed the question, could the feeling they shared here translate to the stage? Just then, Mia's phone buzzed again, the screen lighting up with a message that shattered the blissful moment. Important call, me ASAP, her agent's text read. Her heart sank. Destiny had twisted with a sudden urgency, and just when she thought everything was aligning, the world pulled her back into uncertainty. What's wrong? Emma asked, sensing the change in her demeanor. I don't know. Mia's fingers hovered over the screen, torn between the promise of the night and the looming dread tied to her career. Maybe it's good news? Jonah suggested, though his expression mirrored Mia's confusion. Mia nodded absently, but an uneasy knot formed in her stomach. Yeah, maybe before night's end would she find the courage to face both hopes and fears? More importantly, would the show catapult them toward their dreams or back into the shadows? The question lingered in the air, heavy with anticipation, as she braced herself for whatever came next. The velvet room buzzed with excitement that night, a warm glow spilling from the windows onto the bustling street. Mia and Emma stood backstage, their hearts pounding as the sound of chatter filled their ears. This was it, the moment they had dreamed of. Mia glanced at Emma, who was adjusting her hair in front of the mirror. This is really happening, she exclaimed, feeling both exhilaration and a hint of nerves twist in her stomach. Yes, we've worked hard for this. Remember what we practiced? Emma reminded her, a spark lighting her eyes. Right, just be ourselves. Mia nodded, her breath steadying. But as the MC announced them, the weight of expectation pressed down. As if that's easy, as they stepped into the spotlight, the crowd in front of them swirled like a sea of faces merging into one. For a brief moment, Mia was overcome by doubt, but she quickly locked eyes with Emma. They silently reconnected, emboldened by that shared bond, the thick thread of their dreams. With each note and lyric, they poured themselves into the music. They sang about friendship, hardship, and the beauty of simply being real. Each chorus rose and fell, echoing their journey. The audience's reactions were electric. Their cheers ignited a confidence within Mia that felt unstoppable as they hit the final note. Silence enveloped the room for just a heartbeat before an eruption of applause resonated. The lights cast a halo around them, and for a moment, everything felt perfect, like they were floating. Then, Mia caught sight of Jonah in the crowd, clapping with an expression of pride etched across his face. His smile made everything else fade into blur, and she realized that this was not just about the show. This was about showing up for themselves. Once they finished and exited the stage, chest heaving with adrenaline and emotion, Emma turned to Mia, eyes sparkling. We did it. Did you see how they reacted? I can't believe it. They actually liked us. Mia returned, her exhilaration palpable. Just then, a familiar voice floated through the chaos. You two were amazing. It was Alex, stepping forward with a proud grin. Mia's heart swelled. Thanks. It felt incredible. I've got to admit, I underestimated you both, Alex admitted, rubbing the back of his neck. But you stayed true to who you are. It showed. Mia beamed. We realized that we can't let anyone dictate our journey. From across the room, Jonah approached, his eyes shining. You were phenomenal. I didn't expect anything less, but that was something special. Mia raced to meet him, her nerves melting away. Really? You mean that? Absolutely. I think you both have a bright future ahead. How do you feel? He asked, genuine curiosity shining through. Mia smiled as she exchanged glances with Emma. Relieved, free like we finally found our voice. But before she could fully revel in the moment, her phone buzzed again. The text from her agent replayed in her mind, but she pushed it away. Not tonight, she decided. That was just the first step. Jonah continued, leaning closer, his enthusiasm palpable. Have you thought about what comes next? Mia shrugged, the weight of ambition pressing down again. We really want to keep pursuing this, but I don't know how everything will unfold. We can help each other, Jonah said confidently. I want to be part of your journey. Suddenly, murmurs rose from the gathering crowd. Mia's heart raced as her agent approached, an eager expression on her face. Mia, we need to talk. The reality of that moment hit Mia hard. What if she has bad news? She whispered to Emma nervously. Whatever it is, you've already taken and owned this night. Emma replied firmly. Mia took one last glance at Jonah, finding solace in his presence. You'll be okay, he assured her. His voice steady as she approached her agent. Trepidation settled over Mia like a blanket, but in her heart, she felt a spark. This was a crossroads, a test of her courage and authenticity. Mia, I've got something exciting, her agent said, as Mia's breath caught in her throat. You were brilliant tonight, and I think we have an opportunity with a producer who's been watching. Mia's heart soared. Really? Yes. They want to meet with you tomorrow to discuss a potential project. Mia's smile broke free, bursting with joy. That's incredible. But remember, her agent added, it won't be easy. You have to keep fighting to stay true to your vision. Mia nodded, feeling the weight of her dreams, but also the assurance that she was not alone. As she turned back to Emma and Jonah, excitement twinkled in her friend's eyes. They had faced the storm together and emerged stronger. This is just the beginning, Emma whispered. And we're ready, Mia added, determination lighting her spirit. Jonah grinned, opening the path to their future. Let us do this together. At that moment, Mia felt the warmth of connection. She had not only opened the door to her dreams, she had discovered the power of authenticity, resilience, and friendship along the way. The future felt bright, full of possibilities waiting to be embraced. As they left the velvet room, arm in arm, they stepped into the colorful unknown. Ready to chase a world beyond the stars, this was their journey, their symphony, and together they could create a masterpiece. And it all began with the courage to dance to their own rhythm, no matter the noise surrounding them. Don't wait not even one more second. You need to subscribe immediately to my channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and comment your reactions and feelings about this amazing ending. Share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. True fans know the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.